The Galactic Academy's combat arena hummed with anticipation as hundreds of alien cadets filled the observation decks. Emma Chin stood in the preparation chamber, her human frame appearing almost fragile compared to the towering Crossian warriors and the armored Velthan soldiers surrounding her. She could feel their eyes on her, curious, dismissive, sometimes pitying. "You shouldn't be here, human," hissed a Velthan named Core 9, his mandibles clicking with amusement. "Your species barely qualifies as sentient. You lack natural armor, your bones break like dried twigs, and your homeworld's gravity is laughably weak." Emma didn't respond. She'd heard it all before during her 3 months at the Academy. Earth had only recently joined the Galactic Coalition, and most species viewed humans as the galaxy's newest charity case, soft creatures from a garden world who'd somehow stumbled into space travel. The exam proctor, a crystalline E3 named Instructor Zalmora, floated into the chamber. Her translucent form refracted light into prismatic patterns as she addressed the 40 cadets. "Today's combat examination will test your survival capabilities," Zalmora announced, her voice resonating through universal translators. "You will face the gauntlet, a series of increasingly dangerous scenarios designed to push you to your absolute limits. 20% of you will fail. Some may not survive despite our safety protocols." Emma's heart rate increased slightly, but her breathing remained steady. She'd trained for this. Every morning run that left other species gasping. Every sparring session where she'd been underestimated. Every physics class where professors expressed shock at humanity's reckless approach to G-forces and acceleration. Jason Torres, her only human classmate, caught her eye from across the chamber. He gave her a subtle nod. They'd made a pact, show them what Deathworlders could do. The first wave began. Emma found herself transported into a simulation of a Class 7 hostile environment, what the galaxy considered moderately dangerous. Toxic atmosphere, 1.8 times standard gravity, temperature fluctuations between freezing and scorching. For Emma, it felt like a brisk autumn day back in Colorado. She moved through the terrain with fluid efficiency while other cadets struggled. A Crossian warrior, built like a tank with natural armor plating, collapsed within minutes from heat exhaustion. The Velthun who'd mocked her earlier activated emergency extraction after the gravity proved too intense for his chitin-covered frame. Emma didn't just survive, she thrived. The second scenario introduced predators. Simulated creatures designed to hunt sentient beings, amalgamations of the galaxy's most dangerous fauna. They possessed speed, strength, and killing instinct. What they didn't possess was experience with pursuit predators. Most galactic species were prey-derived or ambush hunters. They didn't understand the human capacity for persistence hunting, the ability to track and chase prey for hours until it collapsed from exhaustion. Emma's ancestors had run down antelopes across African plains, had outlasted every other species on Earth through sheer endurance. She didn't fight the predators head-on. She ran, and ran, and ran. Her heart rate settled into that steady rhythm every human distance runner knew. The zone where breathing synchronized with footfalls, where pain became background noise, where the body became a machine designed for one purpose: moving forward. The simulated predators, magnificent and deadly, simply couldn't keep up. They burst with speed, caught her scent, lunged with killing intent, and then watched in confusion as she kept going. 10 minutes. 20. An hour. One by one. The digital predators collapsed, their programming unable to comprehend an endurance that seemed biologically impossible. In the observation deck, the alien spectators fell silent. The third scenario was designed to break even the strongest cadets. Psychological warfare combined with physical trauma. Simulated injuries, pain compliance, fear induction. Emma's jaw tightened as the scenario activated. She felt her leg break. Not really, but the simulation made her brain believe it had. The pain was excruciating, designed to trigger immediate surrender. She kept moving. The program increased intensity. Broken ribs, dislocated shoulder, blood loss simulation. Every alien species had surrender thresholds programmed into their biology, protective mechanisms that forced them to stop before lethal damage occurred. Humans had those thresholds too. They just learned to ignore them. Emma dragged herself forward, her simulated body a mass of injuries that would have killed most species. Her vision tunneled. Her breathing came in ragged gasps. But somewhere in her genetic memory was the echo of every human who'd survived the unsurvivable, who'd walked on broken legs to find help, who'd kept fighting with fatal wounds, who'd refused to die simply because dying wasn't acceptable. Jason appeared in her peripheral vision, going through his own version of hell. He was crawling now, one arm completely useless, but still advancing toward the objective. Deathworlders didn't quit. The simulation ended. Emma found herself back in the preparation chamber, physically unharmed but mentally exhausted. Around her, alien cadets stared with expressions ranging from shock to outright fear. Of the 40 who'd started, only 12 remained. 8 were human. Earth had sent 10 cadets total to the academy. Instructor Zalmora floated before Emma, her crystalline form pulsing with colors that suggested deep contemplation. In 300 years of administering this examination, Zalmora said slowly, no species has ever completed the third scenario without requesting extraction. Most consider it a test of knowing one's limits, of survival instinct overriding pride. Humans, Emma said quietly, don't really do limits the same way. Clearly, Zalmora's form shifted to a deep amber. Respect in E3 physiology. We reviewed your planet's classification. Category 12 Death World. We thought it an error. Perhaps your species exaggerated to gain status. Emma almost laughed. Category 12 was the galactic standard for extremely hostile. Planets with megafauna, weather extremes, geological instability, and aggressive disease vectors. Earth was actually a Category 14. They downgraded it in the application because they thought no one would believe the real number. Your evaluation scores are unprecedented, Zalmora continued. Both you and Cadet Torres have redefined our understanding of what a Deathworlder truly means. Emma glanced at Jason, who looked as exhausted as she felt. They'd proven their point. Humanity wasn't weak. They were simply optimized for a world that actively tried to kill them every single day. And they'd become so good at surviving it that they'd forgotten how extraordinary that was. As Emma left the arena, she could hear the whispers spreading through the alien cadets. The word Deathworlder carried new weight now, spoken with caution and respect. Earth had arrived in the galactic community, and the galaxy was just beginning to understand what that meant.